Hi, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes. Yes, Taroscopes for the sign of Aquarius. That's Aquarius Sun, Aquarius Moon, Aquarius Rising for the month of January 2024. So exciting times this January, and we'll take a look at why that is. This is a general reading for the sign of Aquarius. And if you want to know what is up for Aquarius for the year of 2024, I do have a video out called Aquarius 2024, Astrology of Aquarius 2024. You could check that out. It just gives general trends. But as the year progresses, when things do happen and occur, I do videos for them. So that's just a general reading for the year. This is a general reading for the month. If you want something specific to your chart, you would have to do a personal reading. I do personal readings. They're a combination of astrology, numerology, and the Tree of Life, which is the Kabbalah. They're very unique. They're very in-depth. They're very transformational in their nature. And I do hour and a half readings. If you can do the hour and a half, it's preferable, especially if it's your first reading. If it's not, if you want to know, what's coming up, if you had a reading with me before, this is an excellent time to look to see what's ahead, because 2024 does promise to be quite the transformational year for all of us, and you, especially Aquarius, because Pluto is about to move back into your sign. All right, so let's look at the astrology first. We'll do that. There are links below if you're interested in a reading with me, just so you know. Okay, let's get started here. And we're going to be looking at the astrology. All right, so we're looking at the sign of Aquarius. Of course, Aquarius is a fixed air sign, and your mantra is, I know, I know, I know. And you guys know a lot. Your ruling planets, Saturn and Uranus. Why do you have two ruling planets, you may ask? Well, before Uranus was discovered in the late 1700s, Saturn was your official ruler, and it still applies. And there are generally two types of Aquarius. There are those Aquariuses who are more Saturnian, and there are those Aquariuses that are more Uranian. Chances, if you're on this channel, you tend towards the Uranian side of Aquarius. Aquarius is the sign that rules astrology. So interesting in that. So I want to just look briefly at and mention a few things about this year for you. As I said, there's a video for the year ahead. You can check that out where I go into depth on this particular picture that we're looking at. But I want to point out that we're in a new vibrational year. 2024 is an 8 vibration. The 8 vibration is associated with the Strength card in the tarot, and also with the sign of Leo. Leo is your opposite sign, so it rules your house of relationships. So relationships become a key point of this month, of this year for you, not just this month, but this year. And of course, energetically, this falls in energetically, it's in your throat chakra. Your throat chakra is your ability to self-express. It's also your ability to um, channel divine will through you, if you're so inclined. We all can do it, but we're not all inclined to do it. Sometimes the ego gets in the way, right? But there is this really sense this year of we're all sort of working in our best, from our best selves, in order to help us navigate this very treacherous time on planet Earth. So it really is about connecting with your higher, your best selves, All right, let's just go on with the astrology. So we start the month with Mercury retrograde, but not for too long, just a couple of hours before it turns direct at 23 degrees of Sagittarius. For you, that's your house of friends and new goals. So maybe you've been having issues in those areas. It's also the place of networks. Finally, perhaps maybe the networks are starting to function as they were meant to function. It is going to take a while for Mercury to get out of its shadow, but at least things are moving forward for you. We also have Venus making a last quarter square as we start the month. Last quarter squares are crisis and consciousness squares. It's about taking authority in your own life here. Venus is your values and what's important to you. It's in Sag at this time. So what you believe to be true, square Saturn, which is an energy of authority. Now, Saturn is in Pisces right now. With Saturn and Pisces, we're all sort of connecting with our spiritual mission. As it were, Saturn and Pisces moving through your second house is requiring you to value yourself, and perhaps a spiritualization of your sense of value. Aquarius is pretty mental. It's not generally the most like woo-woo. It's out of the box for sure, but it's not really woo-woo. It's not a woo-woo energy. And perhaps you need to add a little woo-woo to the menu. On the 3rd, Mars ingresses into Capricorn. Mars really likes being in Capricorn, but it is in your 12th house. So Mars likes being in Capricorn, but not necessarily in your 12th house. Mars in Capricorn is kind of an all business kind of energy. And so there is this sense of taking things quite seriously with this. And you will be, a lot of the energy for you at this time, at least at the beginning of the month, is all sitting in that 12th house. The 12th house is a mystical, magical place, but we can be deluded there. There's a lot of energy there. So there's a lot of spiritual activity around you. So, if you hear a bump in the night or you're hearing voices, you're not crazy. It's just that it's like the anteroom to this world is full of people and spirit and energy at this time. And so you can adapt and you can listen for it and listen to it to help inform you as you move forward, because there does come a time when everything moves back into that first house. It starts at the end of this month and will proceed through February. And so you really sort of coming into yourself, coming into your own. Right now, you're sort of in this in-between place with the energy. So allow yourself to be there. On the second week, we have Mercury square Neptune. Who's been lying to you? If you've been lying to yourself, is it possible? This is about sort of seeking out the truth, yet it's very difficult with Neptune to really know what the truth is. That will change. We will be getting information. We just don't have all of it yet. On the 9th, we have a trine between the Sun and Uranus, your ruling planet. This is really nice. The Sun, of course, in that 12th house, Uranus in your 4th house. So we do have some maybe unexpected feelings and emotions coming through at this time. Just pay attention and let them flow, because they're going to flow anyway. It is an opportunity for change, and perhaps where you need to change when it comes to what needs to shift. Now, your Uranian ruled sign, you would think it's easy to change, but you're fixed air. So the hardest thing for you to change is your mind. And you may be seeing some things now that require some change in that respect. We are going to have Mercury, the planet of mind, trining Uranus this month as well. And that's actually at the end of the month. And so there's this like a lot of rumination around what needs to change. And then towards the end of the month, once Pluto moves into Aquarius, I jumped ahead. It'll be a lot easier. It's almost like you're getting the last bits of something together before before something new comes and sweeps you into 2024. Mars also makes a waning sextile to Saturn. The sextiles that are occurring this month, of which there are many, all move us in the direction of um, uh, progressivism, humanitarianism. So it's your wheelhouse. It's your wheelhouse. You want to raise all boats. What do they say? Aquarius loves humanity. It's humans they have an issue with. It's that interpersonal stuff that can be difficult for Aquarius, but the big picture, the collective picture is all with Aquarius. You guys are right on target with that stuff. And so that is fomenting at this time. On the 11th, we have a new moon in Capricorn. That's in your 12th house. Um, New moon in the 12th house can be a new relationship with spirit. Perhaps you're finally saying you're in that 12th house with all these energies, and you're finally saying, okay. I'm paying attention now, and everybody's got to take their turn. And so you sort of organize something so that all these voices can find themselves out and voice what needs to be voiced. On the 12th, Mars makes a trine to Jupiter. Be careful you don't overestimate what you can do with this trine, because you can end up hurting yourself. Just be careful, pull your back out or take on too much at this time, because we're very optimistic with this Mars Jupiter. And to a certain extent, if you tend to be a righteous person, when I don't mean righteous in the real sense of righteous, but these pseudo-righteous people, they're going to feel very much entitled that they can be righteous at this time. So you're not really a righteous kind of dude or dudess. So just be aware that there's going to be maybe somebody pestering you this time with their righteousness. Oh dear. All right. On the 13th, Mercury goes into Capricorn. Mercury in your 12th house. Listening. You have to listen to that small, still voice within, or maybe not so still and maybe not so small. Maybe it's shouting at you now. On the 15th, the sun makes a lovely sextile to Neptune. This furthers humanitarianism, and hopefully people who need the aid will get the aid at this time. The 18th, Mercury makes a trine to makes a sextile to Saturn. Again, these sextiles are Aquarian in nature. So we're sort of moving forward into a more Aquarian mindset, a more progressive mindset, and more progressive actions. On the 19th, Mercury makes a trine to Jupiter. This is an important trine. It's actually a trine that's been going on since December. We had the first time that this trine happened was December 7th. Mercury went retrograde. It happened again on the 18th, I think. And this is the last time it happens, this time with Mercury direct. This brings in a lot of information, and this isn't information from spirit necessarily, although it can come from that place, but this is real information coming forward for us to utilize to make decisions with. So some of it is in those nether places, and some of it is not. We're going to see that we were probably right all along, quite frankly. And now it's all out. Now the information is out. On the 20th, this is the big day. This is when the sun moves into Aquarius. But before it does, it conjoins Pluto right at the last degree of Capricorn. So right before it's going to come into Aquarius, and it plants a seed. It plants a seed of making the unconscious world soul conscious. And that's a year-long process that'll happen. It is the last time that the sun and Pluto come together in Capricorn. The next time, and over the next 20 years, it's going to happen in Aquarius once a year. So you're going to have your time. Right now, Capricorn is putting a period at the end of its sentence, how it has been transformed and changed through the process of Pluto moving through that sign. And of course, it's going to be moving into your sign now. So it's very interesting. In between place. Again, you're in this like tween place where you're not quite manifested into the world. And there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. And this might be like, this might be a thing for you. Like if you're not into mystical, magical trips, it could just be a lot of things happening behind the scenes now before you can actually step forward into your power. And you're going to step forward into your power. And it starts on the 20th with the sun moving into your sign and then Pluto following thereafter. Now, Pluto will be in your sign until September 3rd, when it just ekes back into Capricorn, is there till the 20th of November, and then comes out, stays out for the next 20 years. So that's really when. So while there's this sense of like things like starting to manifest for you, the stuff in the back room is finally coming into the front room. There's still a few little things that need to be resolved. But once the end of 2024 comes around and then 2025, you're in. That's it. You're in Aquarius. And you're going through the transformational process of Pluto moving through your sign, bringing up the shadow sides of Aquarius, as well as the potential for a more Aquarian future. All right, on week 4, we have Venus ingress into Capricorn. So Venus moves into that 12th house. Now it's been a very almost contentious house up to this point, the 12th house for you. But Venus is the hostess that comes around with all the either the aspirins, if you need an aspirin because you have a headache, or the tea, or just the food. The caterer finally makes it to the party and starts handing out canapes to ease some of the tension that 12th house is feeling. Venus likes being in the 12th house, so it eases things. And of course, now the Sun and Pluto are out of that house, so the ego and the soul are out of that house, and Venus comes in and gives some little to Mercury, gives a little something to Mars, makes everybody kind of like chill out a bit. All right, on the 25th, we have Venus. Oh God, we have a full moon in the sign of Leo. That's happening in your house of relationship. And so something is coming to fruition within your houses of relationship. Perhaps all of this backroom stuff has manifested a new relationship for you. And it doesn't have to necessarily be romantic. It could be, but it could just be a new business relationship as well. Or in some cases, a new enemy. But because we don't deal in that kind of stuff, we're not even going to talk about that. Why project a new enemy out there when you can have a new friend, right? I mean, after all, Aquarius is all about friendship. On the 27th, the sun makes a last quarter square to Jupiter. We can feel a little bit overly optimistic with this energy. Squares generally are difficult aspects, but the sun and Jupiter, usually the thing that gets you in trouble is just over exaggerating or over extending yourself with that energy. There can be some arrogance with that energy as well, so you do need to watch that. We also have on the same day Mercury and Mars making a conjunction in Capricorn in that 12th house. So this is your mind and your actions are on the same page, but you may be aware of what's going on, but the people around you may not, because it's happening in the 12th house. And most of the stuff that happens in the 12th house is hidden, and sometimes from you and sometimes not. It really depends on how well you can tune in to that energy of the 12th house, which can be confusion, but it can also be oneness. It can be very spiritual. It can also be somewhat diabolical because people are doing stuff in the shadows. So you just need to stay aware through this process. And one of the reasons I think when there's so much energy in this house is to learn how to work with it, Now, this happens every year at this time of year because usually the personal planets are in that sign. The difference this year is Mars is there as well. Now, next year, Mars won't be there. Mars will be opposite the sun and the inner planets. But right now, Mars is working with the inner planets. And so it always brings more intensity when Mars is there. Week 5, we have lovely energy on the 28th, Venus sextiling Saturn. Remember, Venus started with a square to Saturn, questioning authority. Who do I believe? Do I go with myself? This sextile allows Venus to bring in the energy of Aquarius, really, and humanitarian endeavor. So this is a really nice, and there's structure for it. So again, I feel like there's going to be help for those people who need the most help at this time. We also have Mercury make a trine to Uranus. This is an opportunity to for your higher mind and your lower mind to sort of be working in tandem. Information coming from other sources, we'll say, higher sources, higher vibrational sources. Plenty of downloads at this time. Venus trine Jupiter also on that day bodes well for fun and pleasure and just relaxing. Relaxing. It's an intense time. It's been an intense it's been an intense month for you. So this is a good time to just kick back and enjoy yourself. And then on the 29th, we have Mars making a trine to Uranus. This is easy change, easy change. So if you've been working on something that needs to shift and change, this is the time when it becomes easier towards the end of the month. So that's what I see for your astrology. Let me stop the share. And I'm going to use, actually, instead of a tarot deck, I usually use a tarot deck for this part, but I'm going to use the Illuminated Earth Oracle for your reading. And it works like a tarot deck. It might even have this, oh, it's got 63 cards. So it's not a typical tarot deck, but it does give a lot of really great insights. And I figure now with Pluto in your sign, why not? Why not the Illuminated Earth Oracle? So it's so very interesting. As I'm doing this reading, we're in the middle of a nor'easter here on the East Coast of the United States. And since I started this, it's been kind of rainy and windy all morning. And as I started doing this reading on Aquarius, it has just kicked up like crazy. I mean, if you're out there, it's warm, luckily. So this isn't snow. If this was snow, we'd be under about 4 feet by now. But it's rain. But really hard to see. Like I could barely see across the street. It was blowing that hard. And I mention it because Aquarius is often associated with these weather events, especially freezing things. Yeah. Although, again, it's not that cold today. So I don't know. Let's see. What does the earth have to say? I see what the water has to say. All right. We're here with plants. First thing up, plants. Yeah. So this is, well, it could be a couple of things. It is your connection to, hold on one second. Trying to get rid of something in my way here. Okay. I don't know if you could have seen that, but there was just something popped up because I pressed something. I do this on top of my computer, which is never a good idea, but I don't have a lot of space, so that's what happens. Plants. This could be plants. You getting connected to plants, but the first thing that came to mind was plant medicine. Now, plant medicine is something that you don't want to mess with unless you're being taken care of through the process. Okay. And for those of you who don't know what plant medicine is, sometimes plants can help us see things that our physical eyes can't see, but our metaphysical eye can see. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, well, let's see the challenge with that. The challenge is stillness. I almost feel like the plant medicines help you to sort of be in that liminal space of stillness. It like pulls you back from the chaos in the world in a way. Let's see what's underneath it. Let's just see what keeps going. Oh dear, I can't read this. Oh, release. Release. Oh, I'm gonna wait on this. I just want to see what else comes up. Oh, the moon. Okay, the moon in the past. So there's been some emotional stuff that you've had to deal with, and you're in the process of releasing that. Plant medicine can help you do that. Plant medicine can also help you to quiet the mind, because the mind is not all that quiet right now. And with everything in the 12th house, so spirit wants you to know that you are supported through this process. You are supported through this process. While it be through spirit, or your connection to spirit, or through friends and helpers. So this is a time when you need other people. You need people to help you to navigate and release some of these emotions from the past. Aquarius is often associated with PTSD and trauma. So many of you may be going through this PTSD experience, especially with all the 12th house stuff. And it could be from this life, or it could be from previous lives. So you are supported through it, and you may need some help with the plants, okay? It can also be a connection to just go out into nature. Sometimes you ingest plant medicine, and sometimes you just have to hang around with plants. So Aquarius can be a little bit technical and into technology, and maybe sometimes they forget that there's a world out there outside of their own head. And these cards are asking you to connect with that world outside of your own head. And we have in the immediate future the abundance card. And we can see that there's all these like beautiful seeds and maybe crystals and just interesting varied things here. But that the world is an abundant place. The world is an abundant place. It's time to let go of the past traumas. It's time to release them and to lighten yourself up. Let's see how it's seen from the outside. You're resistant. People are seeing that you're somewhat resistant to this change. We do have a lot of opportunity to change this month. So your domestic situation we have concealed. There's a whole world beneath the surface here. That on a certain level is frozen in time, or just frozen. I think that as Pluto moves through your sign, a lot of this is going to come up. Now, if we can look at it from a less personal experience for you and a more general experience for all of us, Aquarius is an energy of post-traumatic stress. And in order for you to let go of that and to work through it, it needs to express itself. It's almost like the iceberg has to melt, because you can see the outside of it, you can see above the water, but underneath the water is where most of it is. And we're in a warmer planet, and so the past is coming up to be released. The past is coming up to be released. Hopes and fears separate, that you're alone. I think that's more of a fear. You're not alone, because spirit and everyone else is here to support you, remember? And the outcome? The meandering path. The meandering path. So sometimes it'll feel completely out of control, and other times you'll feel perfectly aligned. We have a tendency to do that. But when you walk up the path, the closer you get to the source, which in this case is that sun up there, you can see that the path at the beginning, there's more vacillation. And then as we get closer and closer to the oneness, the vacillation decreases. That actually can be a symbol of Pluto moving through your sign. And underneath it all is reincarnation, which indicates that a lot of what we're experiencing at this time that's being released is not connected to this particular life. Tempest. Okay, this is a storm. And dreams. Dreams of a more beautiful life. So it's about letting go of the past here. and feeling the feelings, even if they are tempestuous, in order to come to the reality of the dream that you see in your mind. Wow, powerful cards. This doesn't include for you, but maybe for me, because I just almost lost my electricity. Deluge. That's what's happening outside my window. Deluge. All right. If I go away, I'll be back. So, because it looks like there might be some stuff going on with the electricity grid here. So let's hopefully I can make it through the end of this before it goes kaput. All right, one more thing. We're gonna pull a Starseed Oracle card for you. So let's see. Hopefully I can make it before everything changes. Really, really windy outside. Oh, the yard's gonna be a mess. It's gonna be covered with tree branches. Hopefully no more trees go down. But you never know. We, the Hathors, deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. The Hathors, we, the Hathors. This is good for you, I think. All right, let me read it. I'll put it up. Okay. Birth is a portal that ushers in a new life. The Hathors are here to remind you that you're a child of the cosmic mother and you're being called to be held by her deep, never-ending love and embrace. This is a tender, nourishing card reminding you to receive the deep, deep love of the mother's embrace. The Hathors know that the journey on earth can be rocky and lonely at times, but you're being reminded to rest more deeply in the mother's arms. This is a card of extreme potency, of femininity, of creation, and of birth. You're being called to mother yourself and others too, to surrender to your sacred femininity, to create and surrender to your own creations, to hold and be held. You're being called to remember your place in the web of life and to realize that the cosmic mother is watching your every step of the way. You may be going through a transition right now, very true, moving from one way of being to another. So if you're being so you are being reminded that you're cradled in a sacred container, that you have access to more love than your heart can bear. If you are struggling in any way, you are being reassured that things will work out. Open yourself to receiving the overflowing love of the cosmic mother flooding towards you from every direction. Let it stretch your hearts. Yeah, that's pretty much what the astrology indicated as well. All right, guys. Well, I hope you find this helpful. Like and subscribe if you would. If you want to do a personal reading with me, there is, give me a thumb up and a like and share. That helps as well. Keep me in the algorithm, keep me up. I don't know how that works, but I know that you have to like me. And you have to let them, even if you totally like me, but you don't let them know, they're not going to know that you like me. So you got to like me. Please, people like me. No, never mind. That's something else. All right. Have a wonderful month. Take care, everyone. Namaste.